Hello, I'm Rachel Gonzalez, Wellington Fire Protection District's Public Information Officer. Before we get into our story of the March 14th blizzard, I want to share with you a quick background about our organization. We are a combination department with full-time and volunteer personnel. Your firefighters respond out of 2 staff stations to emergency calls for fire suppression, rescue, extrication, hazardous materials, and emergency medical services. Full-time firefighters with the department work what's called a 4896. This means they work and live at the fire station for 2 days and then enjoy 4 days off. We also work closely with UC Health EMS, who provides ambulance services for our district. UC Health EMTs and paramedics live at Station 16 and work a 24-hour shift. Together, we respond to calls to 288 square miles in northern Larimer County, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Now to our story of a record number of emergency responses and the power of collaboration. To truly understand the story, we need to go back to the beginning. Earlier in the week, the talk of a possible major winter storm had begun, and we began keeping a close eye on weather reports from the National Weather Service in Boulder. As the week went on, the National Weather Service's confidence in this being a major winter storm set to bring a lot of heavy wet snow increased, and we began to hear the words significant impacts and dangerous travel conditions more often. With this knowledge, our operations staff got to work making a plan. They looked at bringing in extra personnel, responding to accidents along the roughly 18-mile stretch of I-25 in our district, as well as the potential impacts the storm may have on increased call volume and our response time within the town of Wellington, areas outside the town, and those in the northern part of our district near the state lines. Like many of you, when the on-duty shift woke up Saturday morning with no snow on the ground, they wondered if the storm was actually going to happen. On the morning weather briefing with the National Weather Service, they assured us the storm was still coming, just moving a little slower and taking a little longer to get started. Boy, were they right. By Saturday evening, rain had turned to snow and road conditions began deteriorating quickly. Around 9 p.m., we received notification from the Colorado State Patrol and CDOT that I-25 was closed at Wellington in both directions to the Wyoming state line. When the first call of the day came in on Sunday, just after 12 a.m., fire and ambulance crews saw firsthand the conditions they'd be responding in for the remainder of the day.
16 UCH 220, Battalion 3, showing a drop for an uncoded medical at Rice Elementary, 7000 3rd Street. It's going to be for 4 Juvies that have been in the snow for an hour and a half. Their car got stuck somehow. They're all in the parking lot currently.
In just a few short hours, roads had already become snow-packed and dangerous to travel on. Starting very early in the morning, crews worked throughout the day to shovel the driveways at stations 16 and 17 so their ability to exit the garage when responding to an emergency wasn't impacted.
So, day started at 3 a.m. I guess for us, and just had to keep up with the plowing about every 2 hours with the snowfall out here being so wet and heavy, and our driveway's on a little bit of a slope up to the road just to get out, so to prevent getting stuck and making sure we can get all of our apparatus out if we needed to, we just got up early and kept up with the plowing. And
just before 9 a.m., Station 16 and BC3 were dispatched to assist non-volunteer fire on a chimney fire just off Weld County Road 100.
Battalion 3, this is going to be an assist to none. They are stuck and cannot get to this residence. They have a house full of snow.
We got dispatched to a structure fire out in Nunn. Nunn's engine wasn't able to make the approach due to the snow impact on the county road, so we went in and luckily the fire was out for the homeowner, but Nico and myself had to walk in through, I don't know, 4 foot drifts and spots to try to get into the house. So it was definitely an interesting battle that we had to fight to get our way in, and Morgan here had to drive.
Yeah, it's just pretty tough road conditions going in. Not much visibility on the road. No real markers to see where we were on the road. If luckily once we got turned around and headed back to Wellington, the state DOT plow was able to meet up with us, and I don't think we would have made it back to the station without getting stuck without their help.
I remember you saying that you were shooting the difference between the fence posts.
Yeah.
And just sending it between.
By 10 a.m., Wellington Fire and UC Health ambulance crews had already responded to 6 911 calls. Getting to calls became almost impossible at times. The combination of wind and snow made it so fire crews couldn't see 5 feet in front of them while driving.
100, engine 17.
Engine 17.
We're currently stuck at Highway 1 and County Road 9. We're working on getting our way out.
Wet, slushy snow and a lot of it made it difficult for fire trucks and ambulances to get into neighborhoods and up county roads.
Usually we like to park as close to the address as we can, but we did have a few that the snow is so deep that we did have to walk in on foot to a few houses. So that was different, carrying all our gear in from a half a mile away. It's already kind of heavy stuff, and then you throw snow and it gets wet and things like that. So that was kind of a new experience for us too, just how far we had to walk in to different addresses. So.
At this point, we realized to ensure there was no further disruption in our emergency response, we were going to need more help. With the help of dispatchers at Fort Collins 911, the on-duty battalion chief requested the National Guard, who had been made available by the governor prior to the storm.
Battalion 3, 100.
Battalion 3.
Military units will be going to Wellington Station.
Thank you.
Battalion 3, the request has been approved by the state. We should be getting resources soon, but we don't have an ETA.
When the National Guard arrived around 2 p.m., they and the on-duty crews got to work creating a plan in our temporary command center we had set up on the administration side of Station 16.
The National Guard came in and we opened our doors and told them our home is their home, and they were hanging out with us amongst missions, and we were using our dryers to dry their clothes so they could try to go back out with stuff that was warm or somewhat dry to try to keep up. But yeah, great group of guys, and I think they were a huge benefit. We couldn't have done everything that we did without them up here. So,
like some of the Wellington residents, we also lost power earlier in the day and were running off of emergency generators. Not long after the Guard's arrival, the calls for rescue picked up once again, and together we got to work.
Engine 17, you're going to be responding to an odor investigation.
We create a service call for a recovery out of County Road 5 and Nunn Road, and we've got a guard unit on it. You can attach Battalion 3.
Battalion 3, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Will you create a service call other for us at County Road 66 and County Road 3?
Battalion 3, 100. EC 220, Engine 16, Battalion 3, got you all en route for an Alpha Medical.
Wellington Fire, UC Health ambulance crews, and the National Guard remain busy responding to calls for stranded motorists, medical emergencies, and smoke and carbon monoxide detector activations throughout the day and night. As soon as crews would return from one call, they went right back out to another. By the end of the day on Sunday, Wellington Fire had responded to a record-breaking 15 calls in one day and rescued 14 stranded motorists with the help of the National Guard. Snow and wind continued to decrease overnight on Sunday. Our responses did not. At 5:45 a.m., we responded to a medical emergency in the northern part of our fire district on County Road 80. Blowing snow had created large drifts and inaccessible conditions on many of the county roads.
We got the call about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and right away we started the snow plows to that area as it was up north further and more towards the mountains area, just because we know that those roads aren't plowed at all, and the plows could only get so far. It took a while to get to them.
And the plows were having to essentially escort our engine, and luckily we have our Wildland engine that we took that has the capability of four-wheel drive and has more ground clearance, so LT made the call to take that. So we got an escort by a plow and a loader from, I believe, the county. And at one point, you know, it was so bad and so deep that they had to stop pushing just to get and scoop it off the road, and then to keep going, to keep plowing the road. They would have to just take breaks and clear it and keep plowing and clear it. So the plows went as far as they would take us, and they called it, and then National Guard and the medics from Station 16 met us and called, and they all hopped in the snowcat and got taken the rest of the way to the patient's house.
And having the ability to throw our UC Health paramedics and EMTs in with a couple of our guys to get to an address, that's a relieving feeling for us too, just knowing that no matter what, we can get to them.
After a quick meeting between the oncoming and offgoing shifts, Firefighters and EMS crews were back out responding to emergency calls. In just 36 hours, Wellington Fire and UC Health ambulance crews ran a record-breaking 25 calls in our district. To put this into perspective, on average, we respond to about 3 to 4 calls a day. Our response would have looked very different without the help of UC Health, Fort Collins 911, Larimer County Road and Bridge, CDOT, the Town of Wellington, and the National Guard.
For me, it highlighted how important it is to get help from other agencies like the National Guard that was able to help us out, and having the plows out on the road, leading not only us but our battalion chief and Station 17. There's definitely calls we wouldn't have been able to make it to the patients without just the help of all the other agencies working together.
Dispatch helped out a ton. I know that they were swamped, and there was a ton of calls coming in at once, whether it was for us or for PFA, and they stayed calm the whole time, and they got us the information that we needed, and they definitely crushed it, and we couldn't have had near as successful of a day without them.
Definitely a really good partnership. I think it's not something that we do a lot of, so when we have this opportunity, which is sometimes not always the best time to train and practice for this, but having that relationship with the Town of Wellington for their plow trucks, as well as the Department of Transportation and the county, for all of us kind of working together in this interagency relationship, and as well as getting in the National Guard is huge, and it's a big opportunity for all of us to kind of work side by side and figure out what works and doesn't work and how we can improve.
While we train to manage and respond to complex incidents like these, we can't always do it alone. This blizzard was yet another reminder of the power and the importance of collaboration.